bus driver to the afterlife made a mistake on his first day, and I'm in. The frost had my name last night. I could feel it crawling into my bones, promising to finally take me. Then I saw the bus. It came out of the empty dark like a prayer you forgot you made, its headlights cutting through the freezing mist. It slowed, the door sighing open in a gust of impossible warmth. The driver leaned over, a smile stretched so wide it looked like it hurt his face. "You look like you're one of ours," he said. His voice was like gravel rolling downhill. In that moment, ours meant anything but frozen to the pavement. It meant warm. It meant safe. "Yeah," I choked out, my jaw stiff with cold. "I am." I climbed the steps and the warmth hit me like a wall. It was thick, heavy. It smelled sweet and wrong, like flowers left too long in a vase. Maybe 5 or 6 people were scattered in the seats, their faces waxy and still in the dim light. A couple of them had sick on their shirts. I didn't care. I was just a stray dog, happy to be out of the rain. I slumped into a seat and pressed my forehead against the vibrating glass. The engine hummed, a low thrum that went right through me, and we pulled away from the curb. We moved through the city like a ghost. We'd glide to a stop at empty street corners. The door would hiss open to the dead night, and then someone would be there. An old woman with a dark, perfect line around her neck, like a misplaced necklace. A man in a drenched suit who brought the smell of river mud and decay with him. Nobody paid. Nobody spoke. They just shuffled on and found a seat, their eyes fixed on nothing. I figured it was some kind of mobile shelter, one of those church-run things. A place for the broken people the city wanted to forget. The cloying heat was making my head swim. My eyes got heavy. I must have drifted off. I woke up to a sound. Drip. Drip. It was a slow, patient rhythm in the otherwise silent bus. A kid was sitting next to me now, someone who hadn't been there before. He couldn't have been more than 20. His head was tilted back against the seat, his eyes closed. He wore one of those thin jackets that do fuck all against the cold. And sticking out of the fabric, just below his ribs, was the handle of a steak knife. The hilt was cheap, wooden. The dripping sound was his blood, a dark, syrupy bead forming and falling onto the floor every few seconds. It wasn't steaming. In the suffocating heat of the bus, his blood was cold. My own blood turned to ice. I scrambled back, crab walking into the aisle. "Hey," I yelled at the driver. My voice sounded thin, pathetic. "This kid, Christ, he's bleeding out." The driver didn't turn. I saw his eyes in the long rearview mirror, placid as oil slicks. "He's just resting, son. It's a big transition for him. He's been stabbed, you fucking psycho." The eyes in the mirror locked onto mine. The smile was gone. "That's how he got his ticket," the driver rumbled. His voice seemed to come from the floor, from the engine itself. "Now sit down, you're disturbing the other passengers." I looked around, and for the first time, I really saw them. They weren't tired. They weren't sick. They were just finished. The old woman's head was at an angle that wasn't right. The man in the suit had a bloated gray tint to his skin. They were all watching me. Their eyes were like holes burned in paper. They were watching me because I was breathing. I was sweating. I was alive. The city outside the window wasn't my city anymore. The buildings were sharp, black angles against a sky with no stars. "Where are we going?" I whispered, stumbling toward the front. My hands were shaking. "Can't tell you that just yet," the driver said, his eyes back on the impossible road. "Against the rules." "Please," I begged, my voice cracking. "Let me out. I have to get out. I don't belong here. I'm not dead." The bus didn't just stop. It died. The engine cut out. The brakes screamed, a sound of tearing metal that threw me hard against the dashboard. Silence crashed down. The driver turned in his seat. He unfolded himself, standing up. He was too tall. His head brushed the ceiling, and his shadow drank the weak light in the bus. He looked down at me, his face a mask of pure, bewildered fury. "A mistake," he hissed, and the sound was like snakes and dry leaves. "On my first run, he will be so disappointed. I have to fix this." Before I could even scream, his hand shot out and clamped around my throat. It was cold. Colder than the street, colder than the grave. It felt like a piece of iron. He lifted me with one hand, my feet kicking uselessly in the air. The dead passengers stirred behind me, a low, collective moan rising from their chests. They were leaning forward, reaching. His other fist slammed into my gut. The world went white. All the air left my body in a single, silent explosion. I was flying. The window didn't shatter into pieces. It vaporized. Glass and freezing air. I hit the asphalt, a symphony of pain screaming up my arm and leg. Adrenaline was a fire in my veins. I scrambled up, ignoring the shards of glass in my skin. The bus door hissed open. I ran. I didn't look back. I just plunged into the black maw of the trees lining the road. His voice followed me, not a shout, but a calm, terrifying promise that slid through the woods like a knife. "You can't run from your fare, Casimir. The ride is already paid for." He knew my name. A trucker found me on a logging road somewhere on the edge of Montana. The doctor said I was lucky. Hypothermia, shock, a psychotic break brought on by exposure. They stitched up the cuts and pumped me full of sedatives. They think I'm better now. But I haven't been warm since I got off that bus. Every time a truck's air brakes hiss, I flinch. In every dark reflection, I see a bus pulling up to the curb. He's still out there, driving that route. And he knows he made a mistake. He knows he's one passenger short. So tell me, how the hell do you hide from a man who collects the dead? What do you do when he's coming back to fix his mistake?